Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 61 of a weekly gaming news show. Today is
62.
Sunday. Oh, goddamn.
62.
Well, welcome to episode 62 of a
Hey.
weekly gaming news show. Today is Sunday, August 20th, 2017. I'm living in the past, don't mind me. And I'm here as always with my man Trenell. We're going to talk some gaming news and try to catch you guys up this week.
Right. The Weekly Gaming News Show podcast is a show where we, two very seasoned video game players, give you guys the news and then we give our opinions on it as well. And we invite you to debate us on the internet. It's one of our favorite pastimes. If you're not already following us, we are on Facebook, we're on Twitch, and we are on YouTube. You can leave us comments, debate anything that you feel like we're wrong against in the freaking comment section. We love going back and forth with you guys. But before we get started, we're gonna do the weekly icebreaker, and I want to apologize in advance.
We have a guest today.
I have a special guest. Pterodactyl is in the building.
I'm Pterodactyl.
That's what
awesome.
That's what we call him. We call him the freaking Pterodactyl. His name is Sunny, and he hates me. Please do not swat me. Okay, it's a freaking bird. I do not have children screaming in the background.
No, nobody tied up anywhere.
Nobody's tied up. I promise you. I promise you. It is a bird. Okay. So, the weekly icebreaker. If you've never heard of it, it's a question that we ask between the two of us to get a sense of where we are on particular gaming topics. And this week we have a question that was, that Boogie presented. So why don't you go ahead and lead us into that?
So the icebreaker question is: name an annoying gaming hardware design that can easily be fixed. And this is born out of me getting a Switch last week.
Okay.
And their button layout is backwards. They have
well, technically everybody else's button layout is backwards because they came out with this one first. Well, with the B and A. That was first.
I understand that. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
When you read, do you read left to right or right to left?
Left to right.
Okay, so A comes before B. Would be A is on the left, B is on the right.
Yeah,
X is on the left, Y is on the right.
It makes sense to me. I'm not going to argue against it. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, because they came out with it first doesn't make it right. I mean, a lot of people did a lot of things first that were wrong. And I'm sorry, Nintendo Switch and Nintendo fanboys. I know it's a Japanese company, but put my buttons A, B, X, Y, not Y, X, B, A. No, it's a mess.
No, I personally hate it because I have Bayonetta. I have the original version on the Xbox 360, and then when I got Bayonetta 2, which is a Wii exclusive, it came with a remastered version of the original game, and I couldn't play it. Just my hands wanted to press the wrong buttons on the Nintendo controllers, and it was a bad time for me. I didn't like it. I had a very bad time trying to play that. But yeah, I could agree with that. I feel like there's plenty of like third party companies that have Nintendo Pro controllers that have the XBAY in the correct place.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I have a Pro Wii U controller that actually does that, I believe. But
yeah, it's just I don't like it. It's stupid, and is in my opinion, it's them being different just for the sake of being different.
Yeah, I feel like in their minds, like this is how I think they feel about it. It's like in their minds, if they switch it after all these years, all these consoles, all these controllers having it a certain way, they'd be like conforming to like the status quo, which is something that Nintendo never wants to be associated with.
Yeah,
they're
true.
never the ones to admit that. Oh yeah, this is a bad design. Let's go ahead and switch it to what everybody else is doing. They don't want to do that.
No, yeah, I understand why, but it's still stupid.
No, I agree. Is there any other gaming hardware designs that could easily be fixed?
The PlayStation 4 is too big. I mean, but I don't know if that would.
I think the PlayStation 4 doesn't have enough USB ports. That's something that pissed me off.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I said PlayStation. I meant to say the 4 Pro.
Oh, the 4 Pro, yeah.
Yeah. It's just way too big for no reason.
Yeah, I was actually quite disappointed because I have the original PlayStation 4,
mm-hmm.
which comes. I think it's what the 50 gigs or something like that.
500.
500 gigs or whatever.
Yeah.
So like, of course, I had to get an external hard drive. So I'm like,
Right.
okay, I'll plug that one into the front. But then I also have an external device that I use to plug in my mixer, and that also goes into the front USB port. So it's like when I want to charge my controller, I have to decide on whether I want controllable audio, or if I just so happen to not be using something on that hard drive.
That's an easy fix.
What? I gotta buy it. What?
A controller charge stand, $14.99.
Man, ain't nobody trying to do all that. I thought you was gonna told me to get a USB hub or something like that.
I don't know if those work.
That's what I was about to say.
I'm not sure if that works. I've been using charge stands since PlayStation last generation. I live and die by charge stands.
Okay, yeah. So I guess that will work, but still, I don't know. Two USB ports in 2017 is freaking LUL, man. Get out of here.
It's a console. They don't expect a ton of accessories added on, right?
I guess. I don't know.
But I think I agree with that. Especially with the PlayStation, because if you think about it, you got to use USB port for the stupid camera and the PSVR.
Right. So
if you got
PSVR, how the hell
not plugging anything else up in there?
Right. That's something that we got to look into. Does the PS4 freaking support USB hub? Does it? I got 2 ports on this thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was certain because it's plugged up and it's a very messy situation over there. So I had to unplug everything and look in the back of it because I was trying to feel for it. I'm like, where is the freaking port? I was pretty much convinced that there was at least one extra USB port in the back, and it isn't. So I was a little pissed off when I found out.
Right.
But
yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, but let us know what hardware, annoying gaming hardware designs do you think could be easily fixed, or ones that you don't like. Let us know in the comment section. We'd love to hear about it. But that was our weekly icebreaker. You can submit questions to us via our social media. Just use the hashtag weekly icebreaker. Be more than happy to answer your question. And with that said, we're going to move on to our next segment, which is the quick hits. These are short stories that we like to bring to you guys that don't necessarily deserve the deep dive of a top 5 news story, but something that we definitely want to address and bring to you. And the first one is bad news out of Microsoft.
Yeah.
Because Crackdown 3 has been delayed again, this time until 2018, an undisclosed date in 2018. What is this? What does this mean? If we are to believe in trends, the game's canceled.
Right. This is vaporware, right?
Right.
Because it was originally shown in 2014 at E3 with an expected release of 2016. Now that's over a year ago, and now we're going to be pushing it 2 years. So I'm assuming this game is going to come out. We've seen.
I feel like they've put way too much money into it for it to go away now. I mean, they just recently released a trailer that showed off the fact that Terry Crews is actually going to be using his likeness and his voice in the game as well.
Right.
That trailer probably came out two weeks ago, a week ago.
No. It came out at E3.
No, dude, with Terry Crews.
Yeah, Terry Crews was at E3. You don't remember?
I thought I saw this trailer very recently.
Yeah, they may have released a new trailer, but he was initially at E3. He was standing on top of the building. He started talking, then he ran and jumped, and after he jumped, it transitioned to in game.
Okay, well the one where he was laughing and stuff. I guess that was just
a new one.
New trailer. Okay, so I guess that was the first time. But yeah, come on, man. There's been a lot of time and money put into this, and I remember when the game was announced at E3 or showed off for the first time. They announced that they was going to be using this new cloud storage so that the towns and cities could be 100% destructible.
Right. They were using Azure as the back end, for back end processing of the environment, while this console just did the your whatever you control, your characters, some of the AI characters and such.
Right. So like this was supposed to be one of their like flagship titles, and I remember like when they were when they were showing off all their flagship titles, and like one of them was like it was Crackdown, it was Halo, it was Lara Croft, and it was that canceled Fable game. It's like these were the games that people wanted to play that were only going to be on Xbox and on Windows 10. So
Right.
like I really hope that it hasn't been canceled because I'm actually a fan of Crackdown. I have both 1 and 2 on my Xbox 360, and I think number 1 was a game for gold. So meaning now it's backwards compatible on Xbox One.
Xbox One. Okay. Yeah, I've played Crackdown. I think I played Crackdown 2 for a hot minute, but I wasn't. It just didn't resonate with me, so I put it down. Never went back to it. I'm pretty sure it was the first one. I'm not. I don't remember exactly, but I wasn't a big fan. So it doesn't mean anything to me. I don't really care, other than the fact it seems like Microsoft again is not bringing the games. They need to bring the games. They can have the greatest.
Bring the games. Yeah.
They can have the greatest hardware known to man. If they don't bring the games, it doesn't mean anything.
Right, and I don't know. I've always been a fan of the franchise. I'm an Xbot at heart, so like Crackdown has always been one of those titles that I've like expected. It's essentially just a huge, massive sandbox game, and you're like this freaking super powered like demigod. You just like jumping 30 feet in the air and throwing cars at people. It's freaking awesome. The thing I like the most about it is the collecting. Like, I really love collecting those orbs. I believe I collected all of them in Crackdown 2. I collected all the orbs.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason I wasn't a big fan of it. I'm not a big fan of searching out through the world for random stuff. It's just not my cup of tea.
Nah, I totally agree. No, I mean I can see where you're coming from. It's a really fun game, but I can see how somebody can get bored with it. But delayed until 2018. I'm upset. I hope that the game isn't in trouble. And I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens later on down the road.
Yep, the company line was they needed more time to shore up the game, make sure it's a quality product, which is problematic because they said that about Mass Effect Andromeda, and we see what happened there.
And I mean, this isn't the first time that they've even said that about this game,
Right, exactly.
So we'll see what happens. I'm rooting for you, Crackdown 3. Let's just have to wait and see.
Yeah, that's it.
Onward to the next story. What we got next?
So Blizzard has been announcing to anybody that wanted to hear that they were going to be changing the name of BattleNet to BlizzardNet, and people weren't very happy with that, and they seem to have backed off a bit. While they are going to be changing the name, it will be called Blizzard BattleNet, which I'm willing to put money on. Anytime people talk about Blizzard BattleNet, it would just be referred to as BattleNet.
BattleNet. Yeah. Was there any particular reason why they wanted to change their name? I remember we reported on this a long time ago.
Yeah, the storyline was they wanted to bring all their products in line with the Blizzard name. Essentially, they just wanted, they just wanted the branding out there. That's fine. But
yeah, it was more about branding. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, BattleNet's been BattleNet for 20 years, and everybody knows BattleNet is Blizzard. And Blizzard is BattleNet. So for them to say, okay, we don't want people to get confused with BattleNet and whether it's Blizzard or not, that didn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, any gamer that plays especially any of the Blizzard games,
I'm gonna fucking destroy this bird.
they know
he is ruining this podcast.
He's adding a nice soundtrack.
No, nice soundtrack, my ass. Yeah. I'm a freaking. Oh god, I say this all the time. The bird belongs to my girlfriend's mom. Like, if it belonged to my girlfriend, I would have killed it a long time ago. Because like I could deal with her being upset with me. I can't deal with Vanessa's mom being upset.
Yeah, that's a no-go.
Yeah, so I can't kill him. Yeah. I tried like feeding them rice and shit, like the pigeons. You feed them rice and the rice expands in their stomach.
That's horrible.
Yeah, I've thought about it. I've had very pleasant dreams of destroying this animal. Do not send PETA after me, okay?
Let's move on to the next story.
Next story, what we got?
We got Project Scorpio news. So Project Scorpio, as we all know, is coming out November 7th. Pre-orders were rumored to and have been confirmed as going live today. And with the pre-orders, there's a special edition, the Project Scorpio edition. You get Project Scorpio on the controller and on the console is all black. It's all blackout, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, so you got Project Scorpio's pre-order. Excuse me, Xbox One X pre-orders goes live today. You get a Project Scorpio version. That is pretty much like the day one edition,
right? Like the day one edition that they did for the Xbox One.
And it is no additional charge. It's all the same specs, 1 terabyte and all of the same innards, 1 terabyte hard drive and all of the same innards. The only difference is the mesh on top of the Xbox is a little bit different.
Right.
There's going to be a Project Scorpio moniker on the Xbox, and on the controller there's Project Scorpio, and all the buttons on the controller be black
instead of like the red, the green, red, yellow, and blue buttons.
They've been that or the what's the other one they do is the white ones, the gray and white.
Oh yeah, the gray and white ones.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty cool. A nice little incentive for people to buy it. First. You already know these things are going to go right back online for like double the money, right?
Possibly, yeah. I don't know. If I had the means, I would get 2 and try to resell 1. But no, I'm going to get my Project Scorpio one, and I'm going to put it on my shelf.
Put it on your shelf.
Yep,
Preserve it.
Yeah, I still have my day one controller. That's right here. It's all beat up, but I still have that. And I will get my Project Scorpio controller. I will get a charge stand. And I'll just keep them up on my shelf, never to be charged, just to charge stand, just to hold them up.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get the Xbox One at launch, so I didn't get a day one controller, and I don't plan on getting the Scorpio edition of the Xbox One X. I may, down
the road,
I may like conform and get the newest version, because that's usually what I did. I've had every single version of the Xbox 360, but I'm still rocking with the OG Xbox One for now. I may get a Scorpio later on down the line, but I'm not too keen on day one or Scorpio edition.
Right.
What would be cool is if they had a version of it with that little HUD on the front.
Oh my god,
that would be dope, because I remember we were talking about that.
That's
that little LED design from the dev kit.
The dev kit, yeah. Oh my gosh, I wish, but oh well.
It is cool that it will look slightly different, because I think the only difference between the day one edition Xbox Ones was just the little the little title.
Yeah, it didn't
actually look any different.
Yeah, it was just the only difference you got was the controller. The controller came with the silver D-pad, and then the day one 2013 stenciled on it.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
But we have one more quick hit for you guys, and we're gonna go ahead and get into that. What do we have?
We got Yakuza 6. That has been given a Western release date. When I say Western, we're talking about North America, we talk about Europe, we talk about Australia. It's been available in Japan since 2016. It will be coming to the West on March 20th, 2018. The game is coming out in full. I mean, the thing is with all of the Yakuza, it's the translation from Japanese to English, which it takes quite a bit of time.
Oh, are they completely translating this game, or are they just doing subtitles?
From my understanding, it's a complete translation, and there's a lot of stuff they had to change because it didn't quite translate, right? So
that's actually very interesting, because from my understanding, I think the last game that was fully translated was Yakuza 2 on the PlayStation 2. And every one that's been released since then has just had subtitles. I'm gonna have to fact check you on that one, dude. Because I think it's just they're just doing subtitles.
Let me go look at. I can go back and look at the article.
Yeah, let's take a look. Because
I know they're showing subtitles now, but when you listen to the audio of the video, they're speaking English.
Really? Oh wow. Okay. I could be just talking out of my ass right now, but that's actually pretty. Pretty interesting.
I mean, it would make sense if they were just doing subtitles. It wouldn't have taken them 2 years to get it done, right? Just subtitles shouldn't take that long. Yeah. But I could be wrong. I may have misread. We can look into it, and that'll be a correction next week.
Yeah, we'll definitely update you guys, because I'm not seeing it here, but we'll definitely look further into that. And this is actually on the coattails of the game that's releasing very soon, the remake of the first one, Yakuza Kiwami or something like that. How do you pronounce that? Oh, this fucking bird, yo! I swear. Like, he's never been this aggressive at this time. This is usually his bedtime. He's actually pissing me off. I do apologize to anybody who's suffering. He doesn't need anything, man. He is a spoiled little animal.
He's a
spoiled little animal. Gets whatever he wants and just fucking sits there and just screams. I fucking hate him. But the game that's coming out in August, the August 29th of this year is Yakuza. I cannot say that word. Kiwami, and that is essentially the PS4 remake of the original game.
Right, I remember that. We talked about that.
We talked about that. It was announced at the PlayStation Experience.
Yeah,
that we were going to get that one and Yakuza 6, but we never had a release date for Yakuza 6. So Sega is definitely trying to stay on people's stay on people's good side. They are releasing some of their flagship titles, and Yakuza for the longest time has had a very, very rabid audience over in the West that just was not being catered to. So with them bringing these games to the West, they're definitely trying to stay on people's good side. They're trying to stay in good graces with their audience. And this is riding the coattails of Sonic Mania, which just released to some of the best reviews that the franchise has had in decades.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
It's true. Yeah, they're making strides, and they do have that big. They had that big what the Sega Road to 2020 in their earnings. I mean, I would think this is part of it, and I'm sure they have more coming.
Right.
And just real quick, so I'm here looking, trying to find out if it's being fully translated. And guess what? This is what I run into.
What's up?
Full playable version of Virtua Fighter 5 included in Yakuza 6.
Included in Yakuza 6, yep.
That's amazing. Wait, what? That's amazing. That might be worth to buy by itself, right?
Yeah, like if you don't already have that game, that's a pretty old game, and I think it has like one of like the highest like DLC counts in like gaming history. There's too many costumes in that game. But the full game will be playable inside of Yakuza, because Yakuza, it's like a life sim game inside of an action game.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
You can take selfies with babies. You go fishing, all kinds of crazy stuff. Buy stuff from vending machines.
Yeah, go to the club, like get some drinks. Go to the bar, play at the arcade. It's just pretty crazy. It's a pretty wild game. I know two people in particular that are really happy about Yakuza. Mount Lover, he just got into it again. He was playing Yakuza 0, which is a sequel to the first one. That came out recently as well, and he's been a fan of Yakuza forever. He's the one that actually got me into it. I played the first two on PlayStation, and then I couldn't play any of the other ones until Yakuza 5, and let me borrow that game.
Right,
and it's fun.
Yakuza 6 takes place directly after Yakuza 5, so if you haven't been playing Yakuza, you may want to read up to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, and I believe all of them now are available on PlayStation 4. Like, essentially the entire series is available on PlayStation 4 right now. I also remember that was a big problem. Like, if you didn't have a PlayStation 2, you couldn't play the original. If you didn't have a PlayStation 3, you couldn't play, 4 and 5 or whatever. But I believe that you should be able to play the majority of the franchise on PlayStation 4 right now.
Yeah, and this is really only on PlayStation 4 and PC, I believe. It's not going to be on Xbox.
Oh, is it coming out on PC? Oh, well, yeah, I know it's not coming out on Xbox. I didn't know it's coming out on PC.
Let me double check that. That I know it was in there in the article, but it doesn't see. I know it's PlayStation 4. I thought it said PC, but maybe not. No, just PlayStation 4.
Just PlayStation 4. Okay.
Yeah.
That's usually been a PlayStation 4.
From what I'm seeing. Yeah, just PlayStation 4.
All right, cool. Well, that was our quick hits. Let us know what you think about this story or any of the stories that we spoke of so far down in the comment section. I'm pretty excited for Yakuza 6, and I really hope that Crackdown 3 doesn't get the axe. Doesn't go the way of Scalebound. Yeah, I would hate to see that happen to a first party, because this is a first party Microsoft title.
Microsoft's problem is games, and they keep shooting themselves in the foot by delaying, canceling their exclusive titles.
Yeah.
From Fable to Scalebound to now Crackdown. I mean, you got to bring some games. I mean, Halo and Gears of War, and
then they're not going to carry the. They're not going to carry it.
A re-release of Recore is that's not doing anything for anybody.
Yeah, not at all. But yeah, before we get into our next segment, I do want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, the homies over at the New Challenger Discord. If you head on over to newchallenger.gg, the website has been revamped because they are now supporting Tekken, Injustice 2. They will be getting Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite when that is released, in addition to Street Fighter V. So, pick your favorite character in your favorite game, and the New Challenger Discord is the place you want to go to get good. They just recently wrapped up their Season 3 opening tournament for the North American, Street Fighter V players, and a big congratulations to the player. Holy crap, what's his name? James 6, who used Ryu and Laura to take the Season 3 opening tournament. Their schedule is also available on the website, so you can check that out. And entry is open and it's free. Yeah, so just go ahead, man, and check it out. And big shout out to our homeboys, Mr. Vinegar, who is the founder of the New Challenger Discord. And also a big shout out to Mr. Mount Lover, who is a commentator as well as an organizer for the North American tournaments. And he is a coach for a multitude of characters in Street Fighter V. So big ups to those guys. Thank you for supporting us on the Weekly Gaming News Show. We definitely appreciate it. And so with that said, let's go ahead and get into the top 5 news stories for the week. And we're going to start things off by talking to our most favoriteest game to not play. It's like our favorite game, but we never play it.
Right. And this story will tell you exactly why, right?
Yep. And we're going to go right into the perfect segue is what I like to call what I did just now. Ubisoft's For Honor had a sponsored tournament that ended in the most unlikely of ways. It's actually pretty crazy. The winner of the tournament used an exploit to basically steal away the win. He stole the win using a known exploit in the game. And while I don't want to show off the match in its entirety because of YouTube and its copyright strike policy, I do want to show off what happened very quickly. So give me a second.
Right. So
so Boogie, why don't you go ahead and explain it while I'm
so this up? What it is the exploit has been dubbed the unlock tech. And basically what you do is you lock on and unlock your character while you're attacking, and it makes the move impossible to parry and very difficult to block. And so basically, it's an exploit to make your attack unblockable. And it's basically with the guy, what's his name? His name was Jacob Palin. Also, his screen name is SB Allernaken.
Allernaken or some crap.
Yeah,
like that.
Whatever his name is. But I mean, he's so smug about it.
Yeah, look at his face.
He goes, yeah, I can't believe it was that easy. I'm like, oh my gosh, his tight sag. I mean, he's just annoying.
Yeah, and then after
so annoying me like crazy.
Yeah, then after his win, when he was being presented the trophy by one of the lead developers, he had this to say, and I'm going to play this really quickly. And it's not playing. Give me a sec. Why you no play? All right. Well, basically, when he was being presented the award, the lead developer just in his face told him like, "Hey, you're gonna." He said, "Good job on winning, but you're gonna definitely need to change up your tactics because that is not gonna work very, very soon. That's not gonna work."
And they did release patch 1.11 this week that did patch that particular exploit, as well as a host of other issues. I just feel bad. I feel bad because For Honor is a fabulous concept and is actually a really good game, and it's a fun game if you can get people to actually play the game as, let's say, the developers would want to play, or as the game would look to be played.
Right.
But I mean, the way people play the game makes the game unfun, an unpleasant experience. They spam certain attacks. They use exploits like it's nobody's business. They are running around. It's just not fun, and I feel bad. And I know Ubisoft is working to fix this game, but when you have a competitive game, a fighter like this, because this is basically a fighting game, it doesn't take a lot for it to fall out of favor and have a bad reputation. And when you have a reputation where your sponsored tournament is won by somebody exploited, that's kind of hard to shake.
Yeah, that definitely sends a very strong message to the community as a whole. Is like, yeah, this is what got me where I am. Using these exploits got me where I am. And like it begs the question, is this fair? Is this fair? And more importantly, this is a video game, so is it fun? Like, is it fun for things like this that weren't intended to be in the game to be used and especially used to win prizes?
Right.
Like,
So when money is involved, it's the same. I take it the same way as a football player, baseball player, basketball player, a track and field star using a PED. It's the same thing. I mean, you're using an unfair advantage, something that's, I mean, even if the particular drug is not banned, it's not detectable, whatever, it's something that's artificially boosting your abilities. And an exploit is doing exactly that. It's artificially boosting your abilities. And I don't think it has any place in anything competitive at all.
Yeah, and we're going to jump more into that in our long-form discussion. So I don't want you guys to let go of your thoughts on that just yet. But let's get through the rest of the top 5, and then we'll jump back into exploits in competitive games. So the next story that we have is dealing with the PlayStation Experience. It's going to be returning, and along with that, the Capcom Cup.
Yeah, which is going to be at the PlayStation Experience, which is kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, the Capcom Cup is, Street Fighter V wouldn't have happened without Sony.
Right.
So that's the thing right there. Sony definitely put the money up front to make this a thing. Capcom has been, adamant about, not only presenting like their games like mostly for the hardcore scene, with Street Fighter V, but like they are content with like maintaining this stride that they've been going on for quite some time now.
Right. And I mean, last year, especially with Capcom, they announced their next big title, which is Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Right. That was announced.
They announced that at Experience, right?
Yeah.
It was leaked first, but it was officially announced at PlayStation Experience. I think it's cool. I like, and I see that Microsoft has been doing it. Nintendo's been doing it for a while with their Nintendo Experience events. What do they call Nintendo? Nintendo what?
What?
The Nintendo events.
The Treehouse or the Directs or whatever.
Yeah, that's it. The Nintendo Directs.
Yeah.
Nintendo's been doing it with the Nintendo Directs, and PlayStation has their PlayStation Experience now. This is where they bring out the big guns. Remember, at E3, people were a little bit disappointed because all Sony showed mainly was stuff that we already knew about.
Exactly.
So and
stuff they showed off at the PlayStation Experience.
Right, and they did say that they didn't show everything they had. So I'm expecting something big, maybe another new IP, another new first-party IP, maybe even a sequel to a first-party IP. We'll see. I mean, we still haven't heard much from The Last of Us 2 yet.
No. And I think we can expect to see something at the PlayStation Experience about that game. At least like a new like teaser trailer or something. Something to get the hype train,
roll. Yeah,
re-rolling.
What they'll do, it seems to me, is they're setting the stage. They use the PlayStation Experience to set the stage for E3.
Yeah.
And so you get all the new stuff. You'll hear some stuff finalized, stuff from E3 that wasn't finalized as PlayStation Experience, and then the 18 E3, you'll hear more of the new stuff you heard at PlayStation Experience.
Right. Yeah, they'll elaborate at E3 on what they showed off at the PlayStation Experience.
Exactly.
And then it's just the cycle just continues.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty smart model. Like we've been saying, like for almost a year now, this is, Sony talking directly to their fan base.
Exactly.
When you're at E3, you are, trying to appeal to a multitude of different audiences.
Mm-hmm.
Like the media, you have your main core audience, and then you have people that may or may not, you're talking to Xbox owners, you're talking to like Nintendo Switch owners, you're talking to a lot of different people.
Right.
PlayStation Experience, this is for PlayStation fans. This is where they want to, give the big announcement.
You're not going to have trolls spending their money to go fly out to Anaheim just to downplay whatever you're announcing. Whereas in E3, it's not hard for a Microsoft fan or a Nintendo Switch fan to walk into PlayStation Hall and just start booing and jeering for everything Sony wants, just causing corruption, just to troll. So yes, they're going to be able to control that message, and that's cool. I'm looking. What I want to see is a release date for Spider-Man, because that's there were two games I brought my PlayStation 4 for, and was Horizon Zero Dawn, which is fabulous. I pre-ordered the DLC, and Spider-Man, which I've seen some stuff on, and I just want to know when it's going to come out so I can play it.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that game. But hopefully we see something out of it. I mean, with the Capcom Cup going on, you're definitely going to have people like me paying attention to that.
Yep. So the PlayStation Experience is December 9th and 10th. The tickets are available now. There's an early bird special, and if you get paid for the early bird package, you'll be invited to a special event on Friday the 8th.
But it's only 18. You have to be 18 years or older.
Yeah, 18 years and old to attend. You can't bring your babies. This is not a family event. Adults only, please.
AO 18 plus. Remember that rating, AO?
Yeah, I remember that.
That was back in the day.
Adults only.
Yeah. I don't think. They weren't allowed in stores. That was crazy. That was a crazy rating. Like it's crazy how they created it, but they never used it.
Yeah, well, they used it. They used it to keep games from coming out.
Yeah, true. All right, but moving on. We have a story with dealing with Rocket League. You want to take that one, Boogie?
Yes. So we all know there's been esports leagues. There's a Rocket League esports league. There's NBA 2K. There's Overwatch. There's a litany of them. Well, those are all professional. Psyonix is having a collegiate league, the Collegiate Rocket League. So basically what it is it's an esports on a college level.
Right.
Which is cool. I mean, the teams can't compete for cash because that would make them ineligible collegiately. So they will be competing for scholarship money, $50,000 worth of scholarship money. And the way it works is there's a tournament in September where it's a 3-on-3. It's 3-on-3. It's a 3-on-3 tournament. It starts in September. The qualifiers are in September, where the top 8 teams from each regional, North, South, East, and West, will compete in the playoff that will eventually crown the National Rocket League champion. That's wow. I mean, because let me tell you something. College kids, all they do is play games. They study.
Exactly. They study and play games.
And play games.
Smoke weed. No, I'm just kidding.
For them to say, hey, I after I finish studying, I can get in this league and maybe win some college tuition. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure what else to say. I mean, we keep saying freaking esports is everywhere. I was out earlier today, and on TV, in the background, they just had Rocket League, playing in the background. I was like, wow, this is actually pretty crazy, and it's only gonna get more and more massive as time goes on.
Right. I'm just interested to see how these games can maintain a long life. I mean, because eventually games tend to get long in the tooth. I mean, it's been done. I mean, we look at Counter-Strike. You look at Dota 2, you look at League of Legends. Those games aren't new. Those games have been around for quite a while.
Yeah.
Especially Counter-Strike. I mean, that game looks horrible, but people play like it's nobody's business. For those skins, skin lottery.
Oh God, yeah. CS:GO Lotto, baby.
Yeah, but yeah, it's interesting. I like this. It's kind of cool. I'll be interested to see if there are going to be any other buyers, any other takers with this collegiate Rocket League. I mean, collegiate esports leagues.
No, yeah, because this is actually really cool. Like, and the fact that the winnings like go towards their actual college education, like it's nothing but a good thing. They're trying to turn something that's super competitive and turn it into a good thing.
Right.
So I commend Rocket League for not only going where the money is, but also like trying to help people, try to give people a better opportunity, try to provide an opportunity for somebody.
And now little Jimmy, the senior in high school, could be like, listen, Mom, I need to practice Rocket League because I can win scholarship money.
I can win some scholarship money. Hey. Mom, did you know being a professional gamer pays?
Yeah, it does.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next story, and this one is actually sad. This is some sad but not surprising news. We're going to be talking about Mass Effect Andromeda because very recently it happened. When did the message go out?
Yesterday.
The message came out yesterday. Okay, so on the official Mass Effect website, the development team put out a message, a press release or statement, I should say, that said that there will be absolutely no more updates or DLC for Mass Effect Andromeda.
Well, let's qualify that for the single player.
For single player, yeah, for single player. Sorry, like that's what I assume everybody like got out of that. My bad. But yeah, no more single player content, no single player DLC, and no more updates to the game.
That's what is the most surprising to me, that there's no more updates. Update 1.10, whenever that went out, is the last update coming to this game. I'm like, the game's not even 6 months old. It's 5 months old. It came out in March.
Yeah. And yeah, the latest update was the final update for Mass Effect Andromeda. There are no planned future patches for single player or in-game story content.
Right.
That is from the official statement.
Yep. And it's super disappointing. Every other Mass Effect game had additional content added.
Yeah.
After the fact, within the first year, and 5 months later. I mean, the studio was at Montreal. Was it BioWare Montreal? Right.
Yeah.
They were they're reorganizing and merged with what was the studio? We talked about this a couple of weeks ago.
We talked about it. God dang it, I can't remember.
No, I can't think of it. They're working on the Star Wars game. They're working on Battlefront 2 and the yet to be announced Star Wars game. But yeah,
remember with the Motive.
Yeah, Motive. That's
there
it.
We go.
That's it. Motive Montreal. Yep. So yeah, they've been no more Mass Effect updates.
Yeah, to say that Mass Effect Andromeda had a rough like life cycle is an understatement.
Yeah, that is definitely.
The game launched riddled with bugs. There were people that were upset about the facial features and animations. Just was not the quality product that people have come to expect from the Mass Effect series.
Right.
I don't know.
It was rough around the edges. I mean,
definitely.
There's rumors out there that the game had been delayed a couple of times. And the rumor was that some of the more ambitious features and sets they wanted to put into it, they just couldn't get it to work, and they wound up stripping it out. And it's not the game that. It doesn't seem like it was a game that they wanted.
Yeah, I don't know. I've only at this current time I've only put like maybe less than 10 hours into the game.
Yeah.
And the thing is like while I was playing the game, like I felt like I wasn't doing anything. Like I wasn't really making any kind of impact on this world that I was like traveling in. The progress was definitely stagnant and it just felt odd. It felt off.
It felt like to me, and I'm a couple hours behind you from the last time you streamed it.
Mm-hmm.
I've I recognize where you were, where I was, based where you were, and I'm a couple hours behind you, but it felt to me as if the story isn't that deep or long, and they're just dragging it out with a bunch of filler and fetch quests, and it's not
very padded.
Yeah, it's just not, it's not there. I don't know why. It's just not the Mass Effect that we all came to know and love.
Yeah.
And that's disappointing. Everybody was disappointed with Mass Effect 3. This is more disappointing than Mass Effect 3 by leaps and bounds.
Leaps and bounds, because this was supposed to like take us to a brand new universe, brand new characters, just kind of just like start from the beginning.
And I like the way it started. I like where it was going. It's just
it's just like once you get your objective, the way you have to go about completing that objective is just mad tedious, and you have to do like a whole bunch of like really small incremental like little like I don't know. It just didn't feel good. It did not have good game feel. The game feel was lacking, and
I like that.
And it is upsetting that we're not going to be able to expand on this universe, in a single player campaign style, similar to or exactly like the previous games in the franchise did. They did say in the official statement that they will have like other forms of media that will expand on the Andromeda universe. They have comic books, stories,
some of the multiplayer stuff.
Exactly, right? and I believe like did they say like something about like an animated movie or something like
that?
Yeah,
the anime. Yeah, they talked about that. Yeah, so it's definitely. It doesn't seem like they're going away from Mass Effect. I think there will be in a follow up to this. It's just when will this follow up come? I mean, again, the studio that developed this game is pretty much been absorbed into another studio that's hella busy. I mean, they've got a ton of stuff.
They got a lot of stuff on their hands, and the way that they're breaking out those Star Wars movies, they working on the next Star Wars game.
Yeah, right. Next couple, right?
Yeah.
It's just interesting. I want to see if they'll come back to Mass Effect. We talked about this. Was it last show? Was it last show that Yama was on, or the one before? Mm-hmm. When we talked about the motive, the EA, the merging of the two studios.
Yeah.
It makes sense that another Knights of the Old Republic would be coming, because it is basically Mass Effect with Star Wars skins and story.
Pretty much.
So, I mean, with this team, BioWare Montreal, who worked on the Mass Effect game, being managed by a team that they feel may be stronger, we could be looking at another KOTR. And that will sate me and fill my Mass Effect void.
Yeah. Yeah, because I gotta say, like, for the amount of time that I played the game, I was all but invested in that universe and the majority of the characters. I really had no investment in anything that was going on, which is disappointing in my opinion. But it feels like they definitely have a story to tell. It just won't be told, in game.
It won't be finished in game.
Won't be finished in game.
It started, but it's not going to be finished in game yet.
And it's really sad, because Mass Effect is a AAA like flagship franchise for EA, and to see it go down this route, for it to get the negative reception that it got, they tried to fix it. You just could not win people over. I don't know. It's sad.
The mistakes early were horrible, and again, my biggest issue is, like I said, it just the story just seems to be a bit of a shallow story and you're just being dragged around. Is whatever.
Yeah, but we'll see what happens with the Mass Effect universe. I may be hesitant to pick up the next one at launch, just because of how disappointing this game was.
Yep, it's true. It's true.
It's turned itself into one of those.
At some point, I will go back and I will finish it, and maybe that might change my mind. But as it stands, I'm in the same boat as you. I mean, like the next Mass Effect, if they announce, I'm not going to be jumping at the bit.
Jumping on, yeah. Not right away.
No, not at all.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into the last story on our top 5 news stories for this week. Boogie, what do we got?
So NPD July numbers have come out. Yes, we're back to reporting NPD numbers. This one is we're reporting this because this is actually pretty interesting. Nintendo Switch was the top selling console in North America for July. It's not surprising because the demand for the Nintendo Switch is way up there.
Yeah.
They just had they had problems supplying them, and apparently they got that supply in order in July, and they outsold Sony PlayStations and they outsold Microsoft Xbox. Now, typically summer is a light sale season for most any consoles. The fact that Nintendo Switch sold number one as much as they have is mainly because of the scarcity of the unit, not necessarily because there's people just out there buying massive consoles. I personally think that Nintendo can maintain. They should be able to maintain this
trend.
Yeah, the trend. Yeah, if they can keep the retail chain filled, but if they can't manage the supply chain, they're going to have problems. And as much as people want to say Nintendo is falsely or artificially creating scarcity, reports out there is that they're having a hard time getting the components, mainly because of Apple.
That's something we reported on.
Right. And when the way Apple works is they typically buy entire supply chains. So they have new devices coming out soon. So I mean, Nintendo Switch may still be having trouble getting the parts they need to get these Switches built.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's crazy that the Switch has sold or outsold Sony, PlayStation, and Xbox with little to no game. Like,
well, they had their big game in July, Splatoon 2, which
was one.
Which, by the way, is the top-selling software title in the month of July, Splatoon 2. So it makes sense, and that is a bit of a system mover, to be quite honest, because there were tons of people.
It's what made me buy the system.
Right. There were a ton of people that were waiting for Splatoon before they decided to get the Switch. So that also may be a factor in the sales of the Nintendo Switch. It'd be interesting to see where they wind up next month, this month in August.
Because I don't know of any high level releases.
Hey, Mario Rabbids, man, come on. August 29th. August 29th. To Mario's versus Rabbids. That's going to be the game of the year.
Yeah, right. No, I do want to play that, but I don't think it'll be the game of the year.
Yeah, no, but
that's funny.
That's hyperbole by me. But that's a game I want. I'm going to be getting that on the 29th.
It does look fun. And once I saw the gameplay, I was like, okay, this looks fun, and it's co-op, so it's something that me and the GF can.
That's cool. That's really cool. But it's interesting. Another thing that struck me when I was looking through these NPD numbers is who the hell is still buying Grand Theft Auto 5?
Oh my god!
Why is that a top 2? Why is that a top 10 selling title?
What number was it?
It was number 1 on Xbox. I think overall it was like number 4 or 5 or something stupid like that. I'm like, who's buying these? Who's buying Grand Theft Auto 5? Why and why? Why are people buying this dang on game?
Yeah, no, I'll never understand it.
The
game is old as dirt, man.
It's like it's 5 years old, right?
Something like that.
2012.
I haven't played it. I haven't played it since before they stopped, supporting it on the previous generation.
Yep. Third most sold game is Splatoon, Crash Bandicoot, Grand Theft Auto. Unbelievable.
That's pretty crazy.
Overwatch is still in the top 10. What else is in the top 10? Rainbow Six Siege, which is surprising. That was in the top 10. I was surprised about that.
Okay.
Final Fantasy 12 was in there, which was another surprising title for me. But Xbox One, Grand Theft Auto 5 was a top seller. It was number 3 on the PlayStation 4. I mean, wow.
That's wild.
And year to date, from January through July, is the 4th best-selling game of the year. It's I mean, it's beating out Horizon, it's beating out Injustice, Mass Effect, Resident Evil. It's beating all those games. I'm like, unbelievable.
I don't get it. I will
Stop buying Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, buy another game. Like I beat the campaign. I played the online once it was available on Xbox 360, and like I played for a while and I was done. Like I didn't pick up the definitive edition or the new generation edition or whatever the hell you want to call it. I didn't get the Xbox One version. I didn't get the PC version. So it was like I was done with that game, man. And it was just like people that weren't playing it when it launched are now playing it. So, you play Grand Theft Auto? I was like, man, I played that game like 4 or 5 years ago, man.
Yeah. I mean,
play that anymore.
I see why now that they continue to update the online GTA Online,
right? I mean, because people are still actively playing it.
Yeah, like mad.
Like right now, they playing.
Yep. It's setting up that heist. Let me tell you something. I have never played Grand Theft Auto 5, and I will not contribute to Grand Theft Auto 5 being a top selling game any month, any year, at all on any console.
Top selling game in 2017. Freaking LUL. Get out of here, man. All right, but yeah, that was our top 5 news stories for this week. Let us know what you all think about the NPD numbers or any of the stories that we talked about today. We would love to get your feedback. You can hit us up on our social media, and just let's get the discussion going. We'd like to go back and forth with you guys on these varied topics, and so hit us up. But with that said, let's go ahead and get into our next segment. This is going to be our long form discussion, and like I mentioned earlier in the show, we were talking about exploits in competitive games. I kind of wanted to elaborate on that a bit and talk about the contrast between exploits in competitive games versus exploits in non-competitive games. So earlier we were talking about how in the For Honor, sponsored Ubisoft-sponsored For Honor tournament, a player won using an exploit in the game. And while it was definitely frowned upon, I wish I had the audio so that you guys could hear like the disdain in that man's voice. Like he was not happy to give away that trophy.
It looked to me as if he wanted to smack him in the face with the trophy.
He's like, man, you know that shit's not right.
Bull crap. I wish, me personally, I wish he would have came up and said, "Hey, you use a known exploit. I'm going to disqualify you right here and there,
That would have caused some controversy. Yeah.
No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't. It's an exploit.
But it's currently in the game though.
See, that's the problem. I hate that argument so much.
But I know you hate it, but it's like if I don't know. See, this is why I wanted to have this conversation. All right, so let's get into it.
Let me tell you. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
LeBron James could right now go around the corner and buy a bottle of steroids. He pops them and starts playing basketball. Now he's averaging 50 points a game. Hey, steroids are out there. Why can't I use them? It's an unfair advantage. It's an unfair advantage. And using exploit is the same thing. It's an unfair advantage, especially when you're playing somebody that's not. It's one thing if everybody's doing it, right? If you're playing somebody that's using the exploit, eventually you're going to break down. You have to compete, right? And that's the rabbit hole you fall into. But when you're playing somebody and they're obviously not using it, and you are using it, and you use it to win.
Yeah, because like if you watch the match, he turned that switch.
Yeah,
it's like a switch he turned on, like at the climax.
Yeah,
of that
I'm about to
match.
lose. I'm about to lose. Let me shoot up real quick.
Yeah.
It's like that's what it is. I'm sorry, and I have no respect for that dude. I hope he fell down the stairs and broke his ankle or something. It's ridiculous. And I understand people always say that it's in the game, so I should use it. It's in the game. I'm going to use it. Why don't you stop it? Well, you can't stop it. It's an exploit. That's the first problem.
Yeah.
And two, because it's there by accident. It's not a
it wasn't a design choice.
Yeah, it's not a design. If it's a design choice where like you can one shot somebody in their foot, that's a design choice. That's a design choice. If you use it, you use it. I mean, it's just I have to jump, right?
Yeah.
But if you're using an exploit that's there by accident, that's essentially a bug. There's no place in for, especially in tournaments, especially when money is involved. It shouldn't be. You shouldn't be able to be considered a winner or a champion. You're not.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very, very gray area for a lot of people because, like you said, a lot of people do believe that if it's in the game, then it should be allowed. But I mean, in a lot of sponsored tournaments, it has been like disallowed. So right. I guess this was an exploit that was not disallowed. It should have been put into the rules. Because with a lot of tournaments,
exploit it's been in the game since beginning, and people begging to have it taken out. So
right, so
should have known better than to have a tournament and not address that particular issue.
Right, yeah, that should have been addressed in the rules. So I would not solely put that on the player. It's more on the organizers. It's more on the organizers for not recognizing that this is something that could be used in a tournament play. And not, specifically in outright just like banning the tech.
Right. So, I think they're both at equal fault.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I said, yes, the tournament organizer should have said, "Hey, we know about this exploit. If you're caught using it, you will be disqualified."
Yes.
And the person playing should be honorable enough, especially in a game called For Honor, enough not to use a cheap exploit to win. I mean, if you're gonna lose, lose.
Yeah, lose with dignity.
Grace and dignity, exactly.
Yeah.
And my biggest problem with the exploits is when it affects. So we're talking about exploits in competitive versus non-competitive games. So if it's a single player game and you're using an exploit for like most popular use for exploits are speed runs and exploration. I mean, it's something that people did in Destiny ad nauseum, where they use exploits to explore or get into unfinished areas so they can get information on the next DLC that's coming out. Oh, this area is now here. It looks like it might be in the next DLC. I don't have a problem with that. The only issue that comes up with that are spoilers. But spoilers are easy enough to avoid. I mean, if you don't want to be spoiled, you can avoid those type of spoilers. I don't have a problem when you're using it for exploration or you're doing a speed run to see how fast you can go through a game. That's not an issue because it's not affecting anybody else, right?
Yeah, but what about world record times? Where somebody is going through the game as it was intended to be played, and optimizing his game play to get the fastest time. And then you have somebody who could just like drop through the floor and get to the credits, like where's the balance?
When you look at that again, that's an organization issue, right? So
True.
People are going to use those exploits, and if as an organization you're going to recognize a world record for somebody that's using an exploit, not playing the game properly, that's on you. Because if you tell people, hey, to have this world record, you have to play the game A to Z without using the exploit, people will stop using the exploit.
Yeah.
And they will run the game the way it's supposed to be run, right?
Right.
But as long as you leave it Wild West, open, no rules, exploit, anything goes, people are going to exploit.
Yeah.
I'm less bothered with that because again, it doesn't necessarily, even the world record runs doesn't affect me and how I play the game, right? Or you and how you play the game. When you play Sonic Mania, somebody's world record run is not going to necessarily affect your experience in actually going through the game and beating the story, right? Unless you're a speedrunner, you're trying to break the record.
Right.
And if that's the case, you'll probably figure out that exploit and start using it yourself, right? But when it's a multiplayer game and somebody's using an exploit, one of the most common exploits is in shooter games where people clip into walls,
jump outside the map, stuff like that.
Those exploits, when you're affecting the experience of me or other people playing the game, that's not only detrimental to me, it's detrimental to yourself and the company, because what's going to happen is people will stop playing the game.
Yeah.
And maybe this is your favorite game that you're using the exploit so you can win. Eventually, you're not going to have anybody to play with because nobody's going to be playing the game.
Yeah,
right?
I feel like when exploits become the meta is where I kind of like draw the line and just, I can't play this game anymore. It was a huge problem that I had with Super Smash Brothers Brawl, the one that came out on the Wii. There was a ton of exploits in that game. You know, chain grabbing. God damn, I can't even think of all of them. But chain grabbing was a very big one where like if you got grabbed, you were dead essentially. Like zero health to death if you got grabbed like once, and it was a pretty bad scene. And you know, being the original Wii, there was no way for them to implement patches to that game. But you know, in online, like just like in a casual online setting, it became toxic for me. I couldn't bear to play that game online. But in a more competitive field, they did outlaw certain tech. They even outlawed certain characters from the game. And actually, right now in the Smash community, there is a big argument going on about whether or not the use of certain controllers are legal. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but there's a type of controller. Oh God, it's called a hitbox, and it's basically instead of using a D-pad or a analog stick to control your direction, you use more buttons.
Really?
So it's essentially like using like a keyboard, where your directional input is by
like WSD.
Yeah, something like that. And that is a big question going on in the Smash community right now, because what the Smash Box, thank you, my lover. What the Smash Box allows you to do is get very, very precise movement in situations that a controller will not allow you to do.
Right, because it's basically digital movement, right?
Right, exactly.
Right, so it's either off and on. There's no wow.
Yeah,
that can be an issue.
Yeah,
I can see that being an issue.
So that's another thing right there, where it's like, okay, where do we draw the line?
Right, and again, I mean, we're moving into we're moving big, fast, quickly into esports, and is this type of stuff like you said, the exploit tech, and even controllers, like you said, there's going to have to be something's going to have to be done about it. There's going to have to be rules regarding these type of things. You can't, either you can or you can't. What stuff you can or can't use. I mean, if you're playing on PC, maybe you have to use keyboard and mouse, and it has to be standard keyboard, standard mouse. With no macros, because I know that's very popular in a lot of games, setting up macros on your keyboards. And the same thing with controllers. You have to use standard controllers. You can't use any special controllers that allow you to remap buttons, have extra buttons to be mapped, or anything like that, or stuff like the Smash Box.
Yeah, a lot of controllers that are coming out right now. The last two fight pads that I purchased, the turbo button is absent. They don't even put that on the controller anymore.
Yeah, that's a cheat. That's begging for exploitation.
Yeah. I mean, like it's already a banned feature, but I'm just saying, as the prominence of esports continues to rise, controller companies, third party companies, like, yeah, this isn't a needed feature anymore. Take it out. Right. Yeah, because it's like you're not going to be able to use it in competitive play, and we want this to be like a competitive controller. That's how they market it. So I picked up the another Hori fight commander, and it doesn't have a turbo button.
Wow, that's interesting. I remember turbos were standard in many controllers.
Yeah, exactly.
Third party controllers for years.
It was kind of like the special feature is like, oh, you got a turbo button. Like, oh God, there was this one game like the shmups, the shoot 'em up games. I love using turbo. Yeah, my fucking thumb gets so tired. It's pretty bad.
I remember just using it for track and field. Remember track and field?
Yeah.
Yeah. I use it for track and field.
Yeah. But
get that run fast. All you had to do is time that long jump launch. That was it. But I don't know. When it comes to the exploits, there's got to be a line drawn.
Yeah.
especially if you're an organization, especially again Ubisoft's so bad on you because you knew the exploit, and you're giving it when you host a tournament, especially for money, you know somebody, at least one of your competitors are going to use it, if not all of them, because they all want to win.
In the finals, in the last seconds of the final match, he just
when he's about to lose, because he was losing.
Yeah, the dude came back on him in a major way, and he bust out that freaking. Like he swung at him like twice with the no guard, and he missed. Then he finally got him. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's disappointing. Ubisoft, you suck.
Yeah.
I take that back. Ubisoft, you're cool.
Yeah, you're cool. You just need to. You got to do better, baby. You just got to do better. As far as the non-competitive games, I actually find it entertaining to see people, just break a game in half.
I don't mind it. And again, it can be fun. The funny stuff that you see people find.
There's an entire organization, based around speed running, and that is all about just exploiting the game, getting through it as fast as possible. The average, what the hell is it called? Games Done Quick.
Yeah. The
Games Done Quick, man. Like they raise so much money every year, like twice a year, because they have the summer Games Done Quick as well. But they raise so much money a year, and this is just a community of people, communities of different people,
groups, right?
Yeah, just coming together, just breaking games in half, and that aspect of it I do find entertaining.
Yes, like I said, for speed running and for just plain old exploration,
or just for the lulls,
Yeah, that stuff is, again, as long as it doesn't affect the experience of other players, there's no problem with that. I mean, like I said, the biggest thing the worst thing people can find with exploiting in a single player mode is maybe spoilers for finding out future DLC, which is easy enough to avoid. But when it comes to competitive, it's the difference between winning and losing. It's the difference between your controller through the TV and a loot box. So it's one thing to lose because of bad game design. It's another thing to lose because of exploit, because that makes you super frustrated because you think in your mind.
That's the salt, man.
Right. You know in your head, it's like, I was beating him. I would have won this if he hadn't used that exploit. And you may not have won it. But in your mind, you think that way. And it's all because of the exploit. And it upsets you to the point where you spend $90 on the game. You play it for a while. You enjoy it. And then you get exploited. And it's collecting digital dust.
Digital dust. Mine's actually collecting physical dust because I have the physical copy. So there is actual dust on that on my copy of For Honor, right? Which is very sad because I remember, we talked about this on the podcast. As the game was, getting closer and closer to its release date, how excited I was, like how this was like a fresh new IP.
Right. New game, almost a whole new genre, right?
Yeah.
And
we'll see. We'll see what happens, man.
That's what it is, man.
But yeah, that was our long form discussion. Please let us know what you guys think. Do you agree with us? Do you agree with our ideas on exploits in both the competitive and non-competitive scene? Do you disagree? If you do, let us know down in the comment section or wherever you are consuming this media, whether it's on Facebook, on YouTube, or you're listening on your favorite podcasting app. Let us know what you think. We'd love to hear what you guys, or read, I should say, what you guys have to say on these very topics. But with that, we're going to get into our final segment, which is our final thoughts. And this is where we just revisit all of the stories that we talked about today and give our final 2 cents on each one. So, Boogie, do you want to go first?
Yes. So, Crackdown 3, I just hope it's not vaporware. It's looking that way. Hopefully at some point you will get a Crackdown 3. Yeah. We got the BattleNet story. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, the Xbox One X, I've pre-ordered. I will have unboxing for that. Yakuza 6 coming. Like you said, Sega's definitely being more aggressive with their titles, and especially their big IPs, and that's cool. Let everybody play them, right?
Yep.
the Ubisoft sponsors. Shame on you, Ubisoft. Shame on you, you cheating dude, whatever your name was. What's his name? Jacob Palin. Shame on you. You're not good. You just cheat.
Damn, you are not good.
This PlayStation experience, I'm excited to see what they have to show. I'm assuming they have new IP. I just want to see more for Last of Us 2, and I want a release date for Spider-Man.
Exactly.
The Collegiate Rocket League, I think that's cool. I think there's going to be other titles and other organizations that follow suit. I mean, there's a huge untapped market, and especially if you're going to pay kids to go to school, that's great. The Mass Effect Andromeda, I mean, we need to play taps for that. It's disappointing.
Yeah.
5 months down the road that there's no support, but I mean,
pour out one for the homies. Like I wish I had a bottle. I just like pour one out for Mass Effect Andromeda, right?
Right. When you screw up a title like that, I mean, we've seen it before, right? Assassin's Creed, and that went away for like 2 years before it really came back. I mean, they came back the next year, but after that, it was like two years since. What's the last one? Syndicate.
Syndicate,
yeah. And Nintendo Switch, the NPD sales. First off, people stop buying Grand Theft Auto 5. Stop. If you don't stop buying it, they won't make Grand Theft Auto 6.
Right.
I dig it. Nintendo Switch, they can maintain their momentum. If they can supply the retail chain, they should be able to maintain their momentum. Because there's tons of people that still want Switches, and it's just not enough for them to go around. And that's really all I have to say. It'd be interesting to see how the holiday shakes out when console sales really ramp up. If Nintendo Switch, even with a strong retail supply, will be able to hold on, or if PlayStation 4 is going to continue its dominance, or maybe even Xbox might sneak in there. We'll see.
Yeah. As for me, I'm really concerned about Crackdown 3. I hope it's not delayed. I mean, any further than it is. Because if history is to repeat itself, this game will be canceled. Seeing as how it's being treated right now. I really don't want to see that. I am a firm believer that Microsoft needs games. They definitely need games, and canceling first party titles like this is not going to get them to where they need to be. So really hoping that that's not a thing. I mean, it's weird that they want to change the name in the first place. I mean, Battle.net is synonymous with Blizzard. I don't see the real difference in changing the name. Besides, not confusing new people. I mean, it's a 20-year-old URL or service. The only people that could possibly get confused are new players. So maybe they're just trying to familiarize everything for newer generations. I don't know. But the Xbox One X, Day One Edition, it's cool. I'm waiting to see, it get resold on eBay for twice as much. That's what I'm waiting to see. Yakuza 6 getting a Western release date. We already knew it was coming out in the West from the PlayStation experience when they announced the Kwame release date. But yeah, this is actually really good news. It's we will definitely get back to you guys on whether or not it's going to have full English translations. That's something that we are conflicted on at the moment. So we'll get back to you guys on that in our updates and corrections next week. So definitely tune in for that because that will be something that we do. Ubisoft, you got to do better, man. If you knew that the exploit was there, you should have banned it outright. In the official rules for the tournament. You can blame the guy for using the exploit all you want, but they didn't ban it, so it's kind of they're both equally at fault.
Yeah, I agree. Equal blame between the two. Yep.
Yeah, and in a game called For Honor, for you to win with such dishonorable tactics is beyond me.
Yes, we are talking to you, Jacob.
Mr. Jacob, yes, you are a dishonorable fool. You do not deserve that prize. No, I'm just kidding. The PlayStation experience. I'm actually pretty hyped for it. I'll be watching the Capcom Cup events take hold as well, and the PlayStation experience is where we're going to get all of their most hype news. So I'm expecting to see something for The Last of Us 2. a Spider-Man release date, or at least like more footage or a trailer or something,
please,
that would be good as well. Like, I definitely want to see more of Spider-Man. That's a game that I bought my PS4 for as well. The College League for Rocket League, that's nothing but a good thing. And like you said, I see other games and other everybody's going to follow suit. Once somebody that taps the market, and if it works out, everybody else is going to follow suit. It's where the money is. Esports is taking over the world. It's actually pretty crazy. Yeah, and pour out one for the homies for Mass Effect Andromeda. Yeah. Because, like, damn, man, it has been a rough 5 months for that game, and to see it just end like this is disheartening.
It's pretty abruptly as well, right?
Yeah, it's pretty abruptly, yeah. So, I don't know. I think just, as a principle, I'm going to make sure that I finish that game, because they did not deserve it. Mass Effect did not deserve it, in my heart at least. Yeah, and as far as the Nintendo Switch being the #1 selling console in July, that's to be expected. It's the fresh new console, and then they had Splatoon 2, which was the top selling software title. So it just makes sense. But will they be able to maintain? My thing is that the Nintendo Switch honestly does not have games, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's just the launch year, though. I mean, it's the first year.
But yeah, and this is true. This is true. But for it to be selling like it is, it's like this shit has like an entire like library plus a back catalog, and it doesn't have that.
It reminds me of the Wii, right? All of the big lullaby about everybody getting the Wii and the Wii Fit, and everybody got them, and about 6 months later they were all in people's closets, or just sitting there collecting
even
dust.
With that, the Wii had the entirety of the GameCube library.
Yeah, that's true.
So this is the only console at the moment that doesn't have I guess they have the virtual console. I mean, it's scarce at the moment.
Very,
very scarce. So yeah, I would say that this is the only console that's out right now that doesn't have like a huge like back catalog of games from the previous generation. Mm-hmm. I don't have anything. Yeah. Anything that's coming out of the previous generation, you're paying $60 more for. So I don't know.
It's a no-go.
Yeah, that's a no-go for me. Yeah, that's my final thoughts, my final 2 cents on all of our stories. Let us know what you think. We are on Twitter at AW Gaming NS. We are on Facebook, a weekly gaming news show. You can just use the call letters AWGNS. We are on YouTube. Link down in the description, tinyurl.com/AW Gaming NS. We still don't have a custom URL because we don't have 100 subscribers. And with all of the YouTube demonetization tools that's going on right now, we may never get there. No, I'm just kidding. But go ahead.
I am continually fighting those. I will dispute them. I will debate me, dispute me too. I dispute.
But yeah, so subscribe to the channel. We're definitely trying to bring more content to that channel. Boogie will have a Xbox One X unboxing on day one, so that's going to be pretty interesting. I'm going to watch it. And anything else that we deem worthy of your viewership, we'll post to that channel. There should be some pretty cool things coming up really soon. I have some ideas to go off. But yeah, if you're watching us, we definitely want to thank you for tuning in. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcasting app, we definitely want to thank you as well. And just in case you don't know, Boogie, why don't you let them know where they can listen to us?
We are on iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn Radio, and your favorite podcatcher, as we are in the general podcasting directory. You can search us by a weekly gaming news show or the call letters AWGNS. Head over to the iTunes store, Google Play, tune in, leave us some feedback, comments, questions, concerns, what you like, what you don't like, or just say anything and rate us.
Right. Rate us and debate us. We we like getting feedback from you guys, so definitely let us know what you think about the podcast. Leave us suggestions. We will always take your considerations or your take your freaking thoughts into consideration. Is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I was losing myself. And before we get out of here, another special thank you to our sponsor, the New Challenger Discord at newchallenger.gg, and you should definitely check those guys off. Check them out. Their Twitter is New Challenger TV, and if you go to their Twitch channel, they have weekly or like I think just like damn near daily streams where they go over different like concepts in video game or fighting game tech and whatnot. It's actually very entertaining, and you can learn a lot from it too. So check them out. It's New Challenger TV on both Twitter and on Twitch. And another big shout out to Mr. Vinegar, who is the owner and the founder of New Challenger, the Discord, and Mount Lover, who is our homie, and he is a commentator on the North American tournaments as well as a coach for 355. And the winner of this week's tournament, I believe it was Mr. James 6 and his Ryu and Laura, who took the tournament, I believe. What it says here. I could be totally wrong, but that's what it says here. It says he's the champion. So congratulations to Mr. James, and that's gonna end the show. So we are your hosts. My name is Trenell.
My name is Todd,
and we will catch you guys
next week. Peace.